Welcome to Sports and Go podcast, where we talk about all things sports, from your local high school sports to the big league sports. This is Sports and Go podcast. Hello, welcome today, and today I have a basketball teammate with me, Nick Eulinkamp, and today we are going to talk about our basketball career. So to our Edco high school kids, our basketball season did not go as we planned. I mean, this year it was kind of tough that we had to play Northland on the second round.
Yeah, I thought that Northland was going to kind of be our faulty point.
Well, that's always got to be a point. At one point, when you're in the Tri-Rivers Conference, you're going to play Northland in a sub-state game.
Yeah.
But right now, the Edco girls is doing pretty good this year. I mean, they got a game tonight.
Yeah. And isn't their game tonight the district finals?
No, it's the semifinal.
Semifinal.
So, yep, if my subscribers are here from Edco or watching, go watch them. So, the big thing that individually, I think off from the season that you had, I can check that right now. We can actually go to Varsity Bound and look at your stats. I mean, my stats weren't the best, and yours probably weren't.
It shows my stats.
I'm pretty sure there's a way to see your stats. So let's go to the search bar and go Edgewood, Earlham. Edgewood, yes.
Just give it a sec.
That's probably going to take a little bit. There we go. And then all we need is our activities. Boys basketball.
Oh, wait. That's pretty good for the JV. I mean, JH. They haven't been too good.
And then there's
either.
Roster for junior high.
Junior high.
Oh, junior high. I'll get that after we go into the roster. And actually, you need to go to stats, actually, because that would actually give us our physical stats. And it just shows them their team stats, but let's go to junior varsity stats. And we'll just see what happens to pop up. Oh, I have to do the entire process again.
Yep.
Yeah, but you guys ended. I played junior varsity too. We did pretty decent. We were probably about as good as our team, but it looks like there is no. That's just individual athletes, so there's no really any stats from. But I think I ended the season with like 2 different scores. I believe I ended the season with 1 2-point and 1 3-point. I believe my 3-point percentage was 20% here, but that's only because I only shot like 5 shots.
I think mine was 50% only because I shot 2. You were in that one. You were watching that one game. I switched to one of them and then entirely missed the second one.
Hold on, it's not letting us do this. Okay, hold on, I need to. But here's the one Super Bowl commercial that I found that I personally enjoyed, which this year for the Super Bowl, kind of surprising to see. Pretty surprising this year. I mean, I don't know why the Chiefs decided to just go for a field goal, because they could have totally flanked it in, caused overtime.
With our family, we predict like what the Super Bowl.
Let's go down to Aaron Andrews for the MVP of the Flag Football World Games.
Kevin, thanks so much. I am here with world champion Deanna Flores. And Deanna, you are so elusive. Is there anybody that can pull your flags?
Well, I'm sure someone can.
They're right here. What are you doing?
Yeah, people thought this was actually. That was the thing. People thought this was actually an interview, but it turned into a commercial.
Man, I'm trying to lock down the perimeter and you worried about sauce.
It's all about the sauce.
All unit code red.
We gotta run it. Come on now. She got moves.
That this happens. The parrot just starts chasing them around. Pretty sure that's a NFL player, isn't it?
I think so.
I missed it.
Oh, I didn't know Mr. Beast was in it. I mean, I didn't see this commercial on TV, but I found it. He tweeted out that he was at the commercial.
Oh, hell no. What's the play? I got this.
Housekeeping.
You gotta go higher.
Housekeeping.
That kind of hurt.
It kind of hurt, yeah.
Mafia style. Nice.
Mamá, algo muy raro acaba de pasar.
Ay, princesa, te ves estresada. Respira tranquila. Ven, dame mi abrazo.
Mamá. Ana Alejandra Flores, ven acá, estás castigada.
I kind of like the idea that they were promoting the idea of giving them a chance to play football themselves. Yeah, that was a pretty good trailer, I would say.
The thing next.
Okay, next up, we are going to do our NFL teams tier list. So we're having it on a S tier, which is the best team ever, or your personal favorite, to F tier, to the teams that are disappointing. You can. I want you to rank it by either a player you love or a player you hate. Starting with the Arizona Cardinals, I'm gonna actually give this team a B tier. There's an Iowa State player that's on there, and he's pretty decent, but Cardinals aren't that bad. I mean, they're a pretty standard NFL team this year. But they didn't make it to the playoffs. That was the issue.
The place for the Cardinals is probably the B tier too, because same point. They were actually all right this year.
Okay, Falcons. C tier. They're average, but I mean they've had a couple instances where they made it to the playoffs, but they're okay, I would say.
So I don't really like the Falcons as much, so we'll put them at a D tier.
Okay,
Because, in my opinion, they
there
were really good.
is there a player specifically that you don't like on there, or
It's just the fact that watching certain teams this year, it's kind of where how they play each game.
next up the Baltimore Ravens? I'm giving them a B tier as well. There's Charlie Kohler. He is a player who got signed by them, and I'm like, he played like one game. It's like, he's not bad on there, but the Ravens aren't too bad at all. But I think they have potential to make it great.
I'll give them the C because you were talking about how they drafted new people. This year, their season wasn't the best. It could have definitely
But
been
they're
better.
trying to get into it.
Yeah.
Next
They
up,
work on it a little bit. They should be better.
Next up, the Buffalo Bills. Easily S tier. They were one of the best teams
They are
this
one
year,
of the best teams.
but somehow they get lost to the Bengals, causing an AFC rematch for the second year in a row.
That's kind of the sketchy part is that I thought
I
that
thought Josh Allen could have done better with that.
I'll do that in this tier too. But I thought that out of the thing, like just hearing about it, I thought the Buffalo Bills were automatically going to go to the Super Bowl, and then it turns out it's actually the Bengals.
Next up, the Carolina Panthers. This is an S tier. This is my second favorite team. I mean, I just needed another team to cheer for, and I thought, you know what? Panthers sound like a good team to cheer for.
I'll give Panthers a B tier because I don't really watch them a lot, but when I do watch them, they actually
Succeed.
they.
Next up, Bears. Now, this is obviously my favorite team, so this is an S tier, but I was disappointed this year that they lost by a lot, but they got a first round draft pick, and we should be able to get our team together this year, and maybe we'll do a little better.
Sorry about that, but I have to give them an S tier because it's something that
F tier?
Yeah, because it's something that runs in the family.
Next up, the Bengals. A tier. Joe Burrow's pretty good, and they have a pretty solid offense, but it was pretty interesting to see them go up against the Chiefs again this year.
Yeah. I'll give them an A tier as well.
Kind of for the same reasons.
Yeah, same reasons there.
Next up is the Browns. I don't quite know, so I'm going to put them on I'll put them on a D tier. I don't know too much about the Browns. I know that they're just a team that tends to be good sometimes, tends to be bad sometimes. It's just goofy.
They really switch a lot. I'll put them at D too. Because
it's kind of the same reason.
Yeah.
Let's see here. The Cowboys. B tier. I mean, they were a pretty good, solid team this year as well, making it to the playoffs, knocking Tom Brady out, basically ensuring that he's in retirement now.
Okay, for that one, I'll put that one at C tier.
I mean, it's a pretty good team, but
yeah, they're a pretty good team.
Next up, the Broncos. I don't know a lot about the Broncos at all, so I want to keep them at the D tier because it's kind of my tier right there. Where I'm not so sure about these teams too much. I just know that they play, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad.
Me, on the other hand, I'll give Broncos the S because they're the team that I've grown up watching for how long. And
that's the thing with me with the Bears, too. My dad, I grew up watching the Bears. I'm
that's the one
practically a Bears fan already. I got a lot of things that are Bears related. Next up are the Lions. F tier.
I definitely agree with that one.
I mean, it's the Lions.
How
the heck do they come off the worst record ever, and then all of a sudden go poof? Well, actually they weren't all the way up there, but they knocked out the Packers.
I know.
I mean, it'll probably be the same instance with the Bears next year. They'll probably come back off and knock off a playoff team, but they won't be in the playoffs necessarily.
I think it's the fact that, they had, I think it's the fact of the drafts they got.
Next up is the Green Bay Packers. Now, I'm probably going to get in trouble. I'll probably get a lot of hate comments on this, but I'm putting them on F tier. It's just that rivalry that the Bears and the Packers have.
I agree. I don't really like the Packers either.
Oh, and just to let you know, at the end of this, we will put all our teams on a grading scale by ranking them first to last by their tier list. Next up is the Texans, F tier, worst team in the nation this year.
I know.
I wouldn't even care about the Texans. They're an AFC team, and I don't know much about them at all. All I know is that they gave us the first round. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to move them up one more tier just because they gave us the first round draft pick.
I'll put them here because you don't really hear much about them. I haven't really heard anything about them.
Next up is... what team is that?
Colts.
Oh, it's their old logo. Some of these are the older logos, but for the Colts... F tier. I don't really care about the Colts too much. I don't know much about them, but I know they had a pretty decent season this year.
I'll say the same there because I don't really know much about them. I'll give them a D.
Next up is the Jaguars. I'm going to give them a C tier. mean, it's pretty surprising this year that they were able to come off, and they were able to beat the Chargers in the playoffs because they did the stupid Chargers thing.
Yeah. I'll give them a B tier because that's one of the things I hear a lot about is
The Kansas City Chiefs, obviously an S tier. I mean,
yeah.
who doesn't love the Chiefs? I mean, I actually got to meet who Casey Wolf is. I think it's like Dan something is his name. He wrote two books. One of them's called A Wolf Can't Fly. So basically, he talks about when he got injured for about a year when he was practicing a stunt. He was going to bungee jump off the stadium, and then what happened was, think he said his strap wasn't tightened enough and the bungee wouldn't pull up too much. So what happened was when he jumped, he hit the top stadium chairs.
Ooh.
I'm pretty sure he broke 2 ribs and sprained his back.
That's awful.
Yikes. But besides that, where would you put them at?
I'd put them right there.
Okay.
I'm kind of picky about the best teams.
The Raiders, I'm going to put them about a C tier. They're pretty average at times, and don't know much about them, but hey, it's one of those teams.
I'll give them a tier 2. C tier 2.
Next up, the Chargers. D tier. They ruined their chances in the playoffs. They did what people call it the Chargers thing, where they would absolutely mess it up and totally gave up their playoff loss.
They definitely screwed that one up.
Next up is the Rams. I'll give them an A tier. I mean, I haven't put a lot of A tiers on here yet, but Rams are pretty good.
I think they deserve
Pretty sure
an A tier at least.
Who's their quarterback again? I can never remember his name. Here. There you go. Next up is the Dolphins. I'll give them an A tier. I mean, they're a pretty solid team, too. Even though that their playoff game was going to be a blowout. No doubt.
I don't really like the Dolphins.
Next up is the Vikings. Now, this is our high school team. Name is Vikings, but...
Yeah, they haven't been really good this season either.
C tier. I mean, they're pretty average. I mean,
Yeah,
they
a couple
almost got
good
to the
years.
point where they were going to play their Super Bowl in their own stadium, which would have been pretty cool.
I'll give them B tier.
Next up, the Patriots. F tier.
Same here.
Well, they had Tom Brady win too many Super Bowls, but I don't necessarily hate them too much. I mean,
No,
they're not the worst,
The
but
thing that drives me the most insane is when Tom Brady cheated the one year.
with the deflated balls. But that was only because that was before they said, hey, you got to play in a warm stadium.
No.
So next up is the Saints. D tier. Don't know much about them.
I'll give them a D tier too because I don't know much about them either. New York Jets.
I'm going to give them a B tier. They got Brees Hall, even though we got injured within the first 3 games of the regular season. But when he comes back, I'm going to hope he does pretty well this year.
I think it's because they were trying to aim for him. And I'll put that one at C.
Next up, the New York Giants. I'll give them a C tier. Pretty average team. I mean, Tom Brady went up against... I mean, not Tom Brady. Brock Purdy went up against him, and Brock Purdy made it pretty far this year. Which, you guys are probably going to know where that San Francisco team is going to go for me.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I just get out of the bag right now, and we'll come back.
Yeah. I'll do
S
mine.
tier. They got Brock Purdy, and they did pretty good this year. Even though, despite the fact that he got injured.
I just have to give that one a C.
Okay. But now back to, in order, the Eagles. B tier. I mean, they're a pretty solid team.
They're
one of the best ones in the NFC this year.
They are a solid team, but I don't really like them, so I'm going to put them down here.
Next up, the Steelers. D tier. Don't know much about them, but I do know part of my family likes the Steelers.
Most of the
So that leaves a little bit of beef with it.
Most of the part I've heard, they don't really deserve to be anywhere else than the F, in my opinion.
The Seahawks, I'll give them an A tier. I mean, they're pretty good at times. They had Devonta Smith, I believe, is his name. I mean, he had a pretty big skill obsession, and it was pretty silly. Like, he would score a touchdown, and they would.
The worst part is the thing that drives me
No,
crazy
it's not.
with the NFL is when they have someone.
Oh, it's Trevor
score.
Lawrence, I believe. My bad, but I'm pretty sure that's his name. But they would he would score a touchdown, then go to the crowd, and they would throw Skittles at him.
Oh yeah, that. I still remember that. That's kind of funny.
The Buccaneers. Just kidding. I'm not gonna put it there. That's too cruel. A tier. I mean, Buccaneers had a couple great seasons with the GOAT of the NFL.
I'll give them a C because I'm a little more pushy with what they get.
The last two teams are the Tennessee Titans and the Washington Commanders. They're the Commanders.
Yeah.
I'll give these guys a D tier. I mean, they were pretty solid this year. And I think it would be pretty... Well, they weren't really that solid, but they were... It's not a team I don't really care about.
Only because they were partially solid this year. You really don't get to see much about them.
Yeah.
No.
Finally, the Washington Commanders, C tier. I'm putting them here just because they had to change their name and it got ridiculous. Because people were all like, oh, this is not right, this is racist, or whatever.
I would have had them up in S, but it's kind of the name change is what kind of screwed it.
To wrap things up, we're going to start our tier list. First off, for S tier, time to put these guys in order. So, this is just our process of us putting them by the... You know what? I'm going to put the Texans down here instead. Just because I'm...
Okay.
And this is just us organizing our teams by what we think they were... or that we think would be the best. And that should be it for me. In first place, starting from first place, I have Chicago, Buffalo, San Francisco, Chiefs, Panthers, Bengals, Rams, Buccaneers, Seahawks, Dolphins, Jets, Cardinals, Eagles, Ravens, Cowboys, Falcons, Giants, Jaguars, Raiders, Vikings, Commanders, Titans, Broncos, Steelers, Chargers, Saints, Browns, Patriots, Colts, Lions, Packers, and the one and truly Houston Texans.
Okay, I'll put mine in order now.
Okay.
So mine's got to go Broncos first, of course, and then the Bills. We'll go there.
So I'll just go in order as it goes. So Broncos, Bills, Chiefs, the Commanders, the Bengals, the Rams, the Jaguars, the Cardinals, the Titans, the Panthers, the Giants, the 49ers, the Raiders, Baltimore, more Ravens, the Cowboys, the Jets, the Buccaneers, the Saints, the Falcons, the Browns, the Chargers, the Colts, the Vikings, the Seahawks, the Packers, the Bears, the Seahawks, the Patriots, the Texans, the Lions, Steelers, and the Dolphins.
Yep, the Dolphins are the worst in my opinion.
Okay, that was quite surprising. But now to finish off, we are ending the episode here. Thank you to my guest, Nick Ewingkamp, for coming in. And this has been Sports and Go Podcast. Thank you.